apocalypse is supposed to happen. Because the world was supposed to end, right, on the 21st? At least that's what I heard. It was in the news, so it must be true. And I woke, as my girlfriend did, at 2 o'clock in the morning, to the whole house shaking and sparks flying out the window. And so my response, obviously, is to roll over and tell her to check on it, which she did. And she came back a few minutes later, and the only thing I remember, maybe I just thought this question, but the question that was at least in my head was, did we just have an earthquake? But again, I may not have even said that out loud, but all I remember her saying is, the electricity is out in the entire house except for our bedroom, but I'm going back to sleep because I can't see anything outside. So we went to sleep. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to go to my job. My day job is to teach 7th grade math minds, but they weren't going to be at school that day because it was the mandatory Christmas party for all the educators in Hamilton County. So I got up and I went to the bathroom like you do to take the shower so you don't smell when you get to work. And I look out the window and there's a tree. And there hadn't been a tree there before. So I ran through the house yelling, hey baby, you should probably come look and see what's going on. And I open the door and I step out onto the porch and there's a tree going across her car, going across my car, going across the house, and all the power lines are torn down. And that's usually not a good sign. So I called EPB, right? Because they're the people that deal with the power lines. And I went, hey, I don't know if you deal with a tree, but the tree pulled down all the power lines. Are you who I call? And they went, well, yeah. I went, well, good. You need to send a truck. So about an hour and a half later, they sent the truck. But not before. I had already called my principal to inform her that I would not be at work because of the apocalypse, which is my favorite excuse ever. I sent her pictures to prove it was true. So EPB gets there. I find out the entire life story of the gentleman who was driving the EPB truck. He told me not to talk to the other guy in the bucket truck because apparently he was going to cuss me out. And I went, well, I don't want to deal with that. So then the contractors came. They put up the wires that the EPB people had already put up, but then fell immediately back down and snaked up the hill while sparking some more because the transformer had blown. Now, when this transformer blew, it also happened to kill our fridge and our oven, which brings us to the most entertaining part of the story, which involves us going to Home Depot. Now, I don't know what you know about the HRC list, but I thought, you know, we need to spend our money at the place supports my kind, right? The Home Depot. So, since they had a better HRC rating, we went there. We get there, we talked to, I think her name was Becky, and she sells us this fridge. And we're very excited because it's the first major appliance that we have bought as a couple, right? So, we go in, we're like, cool, stainless steel, that's exciting. And on paper, this fridge is a half-inch shorter than the fridge that we already have. So this is good, right? That means it should fit. So the next day, I'm very sad because she informs us that this fridge is not going to be delivered from the showroom until a week later. So I'm like, well, I guess that's fine. It's cold outside. All of our, food has been living on the porch for the past week, so why can't it live there for another week? That'll be fine. But I get a call the next day. And she informs me that the floor model that I tried to ask her for was suddenly on clearance. So I decided I would buy it. And I go down there, and they tell me that I need to make the purchase first, and I inform her that my line of credit isn't that big, so I'm going to need to do the refund first. So they refund the first fridge, then they try to swipe for the next fridge, and what happens? The credit card's not that fast. So I inform them they need to fix this problem, and they tell me, well, we don't know that we can. I went, well, you need to figure out how, because I'm not leaving here without a fridge today, and it better be the stainless steel one that we picked out yesterday. So they post-void one, or they void one, they post-void the refund, and they inform me they're going to give it to me in cash, which is fine, whatever. And they tell me that since I don't have a truck, they're going to loan me one for $20. Well, I go to the tool rental, because that's where they tell me the truck lives, and I go over there and stand for 15 minutes, and the guy comes up finally to help me and tells me the truck's been in the shop for a week. Well, how the hell am I supposed to get my fridge home? He doesn't know. So they call over a different manager than the first manager I talked to who fixed the cash problem. And he assures me that somebody will be there to help me get this fridge home at 7 o'clock when a woman gets off work. So we show back up after all this drama, and these two young fellows come up in their personal truck to get the fridge home. Well, I would like to mention from this point on, I will not ever say again that any of this is true. It might be all fiction, you don't know. But these two gentlemen strapped this fridge to the back of the truck, and close the freezer door at my request because I'm concerned that the ice making apparatus is going to fly out when it tries to go up our hill. And they get to our house. Now, their manager had told them specifically that they could not actually deliver the fridge into the house because it was not a delivery. We weren't paying for delivery, so they could only put it on the porch, which I was like, fine, whatever. I can get it from the porch to the house. It's, 2 feet. So they get there, they get it on the porch, and at this point, my girlfriend's like, well, you're not going to move it to the house. Can we, use a dolly? Is that a problem? Can we use the dolly that you just used to get it on the porch? And they're like, I'm not telling anybody if you don't tell anybody. So they moved it into the house. They also hooked up part of it by this point. So I'm very thankful, right? Because they have solved my problem. My food no longer has to live on the porch. I have a fridge in my house. And I asked the 2 gentlemen, who I don't know if they're of age or not, you guys want a beer? I'm not telling anybody if you don't tell anybody. So they both got a beer, and everything ended up okay. Except that fridge that was a half-inch shorter on paper than the fridge that we had just moved out, it wasn't a half-inch shorter. It didn't fit. So the next day, we bought a sander, and we bought a jigsaw. Actually, first we bought the sander, at which point I think Heather spent about 3 hours trying to sand down so that the fridge would fit, right? Because if it's a half-inch shorter, you shouldn't have to do that at all. But if it's a half-inch shorter, you would think you could probably spend, 30 minutes, and it'd be done. No, that didn't work. The fridge still didn't fit. The damn thing was bigger in the middle than it was anywhere else. So after a good, I don't even know what you call it. There was sawdust everywhere. The dog was covered in sawdust. The cats were covered in sawdust. All the dishes were covered in sawdust. The new fridge was covered in sawdust. The floor was covered in sawdust. The oven, which was also dead, was covered in sawdust. Baby, would it be bad if we bought a jigsaw? Heck no, we're gonna go back to Ace Hardware and we're gonna buy a jigsaw. So first we went and got kind of tipsy, and then we went to Ace. Where they offered us 2 different jigsaws. One was the $30 model, the other one was the $45 model, and it had smart technology, and it would know what speed to set the RPM of the little jigsaw piece. I don't know. I don't do any of the construction in our house. And if it was particle board, if it was wood, if it was metal, whatever. So, can we have the $45? Yes, we can. So we get home. We're not going to tell our lady any of this. And we modified those cabinets, and that fridge fits now. Heck yeah. That's the end of that story. The only thing killed is the tree, and the car, and the oven, but that's fine. Okay, the other story, when I was, I guess I was probably 14 years old-ish. And the gentleman that many of you who are closer to me know about, Dr. Sam Young, was the man that gave me my guitar. So if any of you have ever seen me play anywhere else, you have seen me play Grace. He's a very influential man in my life. But one of the things that I absolutely love about him is the fact that every year at Christmas and every year at Easter, the 2 big holidays at church, a youth group band would put on a play. And this was not just any other ordinary Christmas or Easter play. This was a very tongue-in-cheek, we write our own music, we kind of do our own thing, and we might make other people in the community kind of angry type of play. And one of my favorite songs, we only did it 1 year, and I really hated that, but one of our favorite songs, what we did is we took the scripture of whatever's going on, and then we wrote songs from the perspective of the players, the characters that were in that particular piece. And my favorite one was always the one from the perspective of the wise men, the magi, right? The we 3 kings. And I felt like it was particularly appropriate maybe to do this song today because Epiphany, which is 12 days after Christmas, according to at least the Catholics and the Episcopals and the Methodists, which is what I grew up as, Catholic extra light. Believed that, 12 days after Jesus was born, the wise men finally found him, and he was not at all what they expected him to be. But the song that I'm going to sing for you this evening is kind of the Good Noise Band, as we called ourselves, interpretation of what the wise men might have been thinking while they were trying to find that guy. So here it goes. Strangers come out from afar, riding beasts and chasing stars, making progress, making time, till we gotta go down to Palestine. Well, the rumor is that a king has come, scare the bejeebers right out of Rome. We ain't seen a doggone thing, has anybody seen the king? Oh no, off we go. Jerusalem down, down to Jericho, but nobody's seen a doggone thing. Nobody's seen the king. Got him a Caesar who thinks he's God. Got him a king named the Great Herod. One more king will be too confusing. Church and state will end up losing. So they tell us wise folk we'd best beware. Get all that king stuff right out of here. Find our way back to afar, 'cause they don't do magi and they don't do stars. We can read your future from the palm of your hand. Chase a brand new star across the desert sand. Dream of a vision of a wicked plan, but they can't find no king in the promised land. We's all worn out, can't go much more. Our camel's lame and our back and sore. We can't find them in Jerusalem. We'll give it one last shot down in Bethlehem. Oh no, off we go. Jerusalem down, down to Jericho, but nobody's seen a doggone thing. Nobody's seen the king. Would you know him now?
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 Would you know him now? Would you know him now?
Yeah, I believe I would.
Would you know him now?
He'd be looking good.
Would you know him now?
Purple jammies on.
Would you know him now?
Satin sheets and all.
Would you know him now?
Big palace door.
Would you know him now?
Persian rug on the floor.
Would you know him now?
Got a Cadillac car.
Would you know him now?
Diamonds being as stars. Oh no, off we go. Jerusalem down, down to Jericho, but nobody's seen a doggone thing. Nobody's seen the king. Oh no, off we go. Chattanooga down, down to Murfreesboro. Nobody's seen a doggone thing. Nobody's seen the king.